All right, we are diving into Hedda Hopper, the woman that put the fear in Hollywood and in their biggest stars. If Luella Parsons was the friendly gossip queen, Hedda was her fiery, no-nonsense counterpart. Known for her flamboyant hats and her ruthless approach, Hedda didn't play nice, and she didn't care who she offended. Born Elda Furry in a small town in Pennsylvania in 1885, Hedda didn't exactly come from Hollywood royalty, but from the moment she set foot in Los Angeles, she had one mission: to be the voice of Hollywood gossip, and she'd do whatever it takes to get there. So let's get into the life and legacy of Hedda Hopper, the gossip columnist who wasn't afraid to burn a few bridges and make some serious enemies along the way. Before she became a gossip queen, Hedda actually started as an actress. She moved to Hollywood in the 1910s and landed a few roles, often playing upper-class women and socialites.
And for him. What is this?
Mother's first picture, The Battle of Hearts, made with Mr. Farnham just 26 years ago.
That isn't actually Hedda, is it? Boy, get a load of that hat.
Never mind the hat. Look at the way she handles that gun.
Oh, brother, is that corny?
Careful, Mother's very sensitive. She thinks she's good.
Well, she was. In those days.
But let's be clear, Hedda's true calling wasn't acting, and by the 1930s, late 1930s, her career had started to slow down, and she had realized if she wanted to stay relevant, she'd have to reinvent herself. Enter Luella Parsons, her soon-to-be rival and reigning queen of gossip at the time. Seeing Luella's success inspired Hedda to switch gears and jump into gossip herself. With her fierce personality, Hedda quickly became a name as someone who didn't play by the rules. She joined the Los Angeles Times as a columnist, and from that point, Hollywood would never be the same. Hedda Hopper's had a style all on her own, and subtly, not her thing. While Luella was diplomatic, Hedda was direct, unfiltered, and fearless. Her blinds didn't beat around the bush. She'd say things like, "A certain handsome heartthrob has been seen in some rather scandalous company," or "A leading lady with a famous temper better watch her step." People knew who she was talking about, and she didn't care if it ruffled feathers. In fact, Hedda loved a good scandal, and if she could stir the pot, well, she would. Hedda's column was bold, brash, and unpredictable. She exposed affairs, hinted at double lives, and sometimes she even went after celebrities' political beliefs. Nothing was off limits. To Hedda, gossip wasn't just about spilling tea, it was about power. She loved the thrill of having Hollywood's biggest stars terrified of her next move.
Hedda Hopper.
How do you...
Your mother's told me so much about you two. You know, I do wish I could stay and chat, but I was due at a party downstairs an hour ago.
Wondering if they'd be her next targets. And then, of course, we have to talk about her rivalry with Luella Parsons. This wasn't just a professional competition. This was a full-blown feud. Hedda saw herself as Luella's equal, but she wanted more than that. She wanted to outdo her, to prove she could be tougher, bolder, and dig up even juicier secrets. The two of them had very different approaches. Luella had her connections with studio heads and kept things polished, but Hedda, she wanted the dirt straight from the source, and she wasn't afraid to step on toes to get it. She often undercut Luella's stories or scooped her with bigger, bolder headlines. Hollywood had never seen anything like it, and people couldn't get enough of the drama between these two women. It was as if the columns themselves were locked in high-stakes competition, each trying to prove who had the real power over Hollywood's secrets. Let's talk about the fear factor, though, because if there's one thing Hedda Hopper was known for, it was intimidation. Stars were absolutely terrified of her. She had this way of letting them know that she could make or break their careers with just a few lines in her column. If she liked you, she'd make you a star, but if you crossed her, she would destroy you. One of Hedda's most famous lines hinted at an actor's double life, which sent shockwaves through Hollywood. She knew about the secrets most people wouldn't dare speak about, especially in that era. Stars knew if Hedda found out about something they wanted to keep hidden, there was a good chance it would end up in her column for the whole world to see. And it wasn't just actor. Hedda would go for anyone. Producers, directors, even studio heads were not safe from her reach. She relished that power, that ability to shape Hollywood's narrative and control what was in or out of public's favor. But Hedda wasn't just interested in Hollywood's gossip. She also had strong political beliefs, which made her even more controversial. She was an ultra-conservative and fiercely anti-communist. And during the Red Scare of the 1950s, she used her column to fuel Hollywood's fear of communism. Hedda would call out stars she suspected of being Red sympathizers, throwing around accusations that could end careers in an instant. Her column became a weapon in Hollywood's anti-communist crusade. People were scared and Hedda knew it. She would hint at stars' political affirmations, even if there was no real evidence. It was a dangerous time, and Hedda took advantage of that climate to cement her control over Hollywood. If someone she didn't like had even the faintest whiff of communist ties, she called them out, putting them at risk of being blacklisted. This side of Hedda was ruthless, and it made her both fear and hated. In many ways, she used her column to create an atmosphere of suspicion and paranoia, which left a lasting impact on Hollywood. Now, let's not forget one of Hedda's most memorable trademarks, her hats. She wore these big flamboyant hats that became part of her signature look. It wasn't just fashion, it was a statement. Hedda wanted to be seen to stand out, and her hats were just another way to remind people that she was a force to be reckoned with. People in Hollywood couldn't forget her, and she made sure of it. Her hats became so famous that when people talked about her, they didn't even have to say her name. Oh, you know, the lady with the hats? She loved her larger-than-life persona, and it became a part of her legacy. It was a visual reminder that she wasn't like anyone else in the gossip game. She was Hedda Hopper, and she was here to stay. By the
This is a story of my town. There's no town like it on the face of the earth, because its business is make-believe. And for over 50 years, the people in this town have been getting up and going to work to tell the world a story. Down in that valley, some of them are busy crowning an emperor, and others are fighting the Civil War again. Somewhere else, a band of cattle thieves are shooting it out with the sheriff's posse. And two people who only met this morning are being married in front of an army of cameramen and crew. For this is Hollywood. You know, I've lived in this town for many years. I've acted in it, and I've written about it for 21 years. I've seen spectacular changes, because everything Hollywood does is spectacular. So are its people, and they're part of this story. But no story has ever come out of Hollywood as spectacular as the change going on right now to its work, to its homes, to its people. And you wouldn't have to go far to find it.
By the 1960s, Hedda's influence began to fade. Hollywood was changing and the industry became less tolerant of her hard-line conservatism and her ruthless style. The younger audience weren't as interested in her brand of cutthroat gossip, and the world of Hollywood gossip was evolving. Hedda continued to write her column until her death in 1966, but her last years were quieter, with her influence waning as the younger, bolder Hollywood stars emerged. In her time, though, Hedda had made her mark on Hollywood, creating an atmosphere of fear, excitement, and intrigue that has never truly disappeared. She was the original Hollywood terror, the woman who held the biggest names in the industry in the palm of her hands, all because she knew how to wield gossip as a weapon. So, what did Hedda Hopper leave behind? She left a legacy of fearless, unapologetic gossip and a reminder that Hollywood secrets come with a price. How to show the world that gossip could be more than whispers. It could be a power play, a tool for control. Her rivalry with Louella Parsons, her political crusades, her larger-than-life personality, they all shaped Hollywood's golden age of gossip and set stage for the tabloid culture we know today. Hedda may be gone, but her bold, brash style she brought to Hollywood gossip is still very much alive. Whenever you see a juicy line or headline that pulls no punches, we can thank Hedda Hopper, the woman who showed that Hollywood sometimes the biggest drama happens behind the scenes.
Tune into the buzz, it's the talk of the day. From Bravo shows to the latest celeb spree, we've got the tea, come sip it with me. Dani Gossip Girl, pop culture expose.